You're listening to the Free to Be Mindful podcast, which invites you along on a journey to learn of mindful living, grow in mental health, and inspire through personal growth. In a world where we can often feel much stress and overwhelm, this podcast provides bite-sized tips and real talk conversations, empowering you to embrace mindfulness and nurture your full potential. I'm your host, Vanessa de Jesus Guzman, educator, licensed professional counselor, entrepreneur, and mom. I'm passionate about helping others live life with peace of mind and ease of heart without losing their, here we go. Hello and welcome to episode 201 of the Free to Be Mindful podcast. I hope that you're feeling good, looking good, and doing better in this world than you were yesterday. So to wrap up season 5 of the podcast, we are replaying our top 3 episodes of the season. In third place, we have the episode about finding your life's purpose through passion. And this was with my friend, my makeup artist, and special guest, Rhina Lopez. She emphasized looking good and feeling good, which you know I'm all about that line. And she also emphasized enhancing how beauty is more than skin deep and how our purpose can come from mindful living. In this episode, Rhina shares her own personal story of transitioning from a corporate career to becoming her own boss as a makeup artist, realizing that her career path didn't align with her passion. So often, we're taught to not trust in the unconventional, or perhaps we're scared to take that leap. And that requires a lot of mindfulness and mindful living because it requires us to be very self aware and to build confidence and to use our emotions as our strength, even when we have big emotions. My friends, we all have the potential for greatness, the potential to make a profound shift in our lives and in the lives of others, the potential to find beauty in the struggle, and the potential of using mindfulness as a tool to take care of ourselves so that we are best positioned to help take care of others. I was so thankful for Rhina to be a guest of the Free to Be Mindful podcast. And this is an episode that just keeps on giving. I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed recording it. Rhina, I am so happy that you are here. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me and for thinking of me. It's my pleasure. And honestly, I was overjoyed when I saw your message, and absolutely anything for you, whatever you need, I'm here.
Thank you. So let me share with the listeners. First and foremost, if you are listening and you are not watching on YouTube, this is one that you'd want to watch on YouTube because this woman is absolutely
Oh,
gorgeous, not
thank
just from the outside, but from the inside too. And if you're watching on YouTube, you get to see her makeup studio, which is phenomenal. So I met Rhina, I want to say back in 2019, which was right before I had an Amiga Moms event. And I think I've gotten my makeup professionally done for my bridal shower and for my wedding, and never after that. So I came
yeah.
across your page, I think just on Instagram. We had followed a lot of, had a lot of people in common. And I met you and really, like, literally, I fell in love with you because it just
Oh,
wasn't how beautiful you made me, but also just your vibe and your energy and the process that you take people through. But before we get into all that, tell people a little bit about you, what you do, and what you're about.
I am a woman of 50 plus and living in what I think I was supposed to be doing all my life. But it took me a little bit of time to get to where I am, and I don't regret not 1 minute of it. I am married. I have 2 daughters, grown adult daughters. I'm a makeup artist and I work from home. I've been doing it for over 7 years and I love it. I used to be in corporate for 20 years and I feel like that was the base of that was just preparing me. It really was. I wasn't ready to do this, I think. I mean, I had a glimpse of what I liked when I was young. I always loved beauty. And at like 17, I worked at Estee Lauder. But back then, those weren't careers back then. My father's like, no, you got to go to school. Gotta. So I studied communications and I worked for HBO for 20 years. And the whole time I was working there, I actually glammed a lot of my friends there, did brows, I mean, you name it. And my family during that 20-year period, that's what I did. And then life hits you. I was about 40 and not happy. And I had the support of my husband who he's like, you know what, if you're not happy, then you just gotta go. And I left that job and not knowing what I was gonna do. I mean, we'll get into that, but it was a very big moment in my life where I had to kind of, when they say things are hard,
Mm.
they were hard. They were really difficult during those times. And then my parents got sick. They passed away. I mean, you name all the things, but all of that prepared me for what I'm living in now, which is one of the best times in my life. I'm very much at peace. I love what I do. I'm super blessed. And I love glamming women for a living. And I want to infuse that happiness and that confidence with every woman that sits in my chair. And I say that with so much because having gone through everything I've gone through, I have a little bit of something to share, to
Yeah,
say. I have a lot
wisdom,
of younger.
experience.
Yes, yes. And that's my little background story about how I came to do makeup. It was always in my path. I just didn't really accept it or embrace it, or nor did I even believe that I could.
Mm.
Then something happens in life where God was just like, this is it. This is your time. And I went in full force and I didn't look back. I mean, from working in a mall, like I had been, I was graduating and I was working in a mall because my daughter's like, oh, mom, you love makeup. Why don't you do makeup? And here I am doing. So I did makeup for like 2 years in a mall until I had like an issue with my boss. And my husband's like, you know what? Forget it, get out of there. And then this was born. And I've never looked back.
What an amazing, amazing story. And again, I've got to tell you, if you're just listening and not watching, I'm going to go off of it only because you said 50 plus, and girl, you are gorgeous because people hear
Oh,
50 and they think like Golden Girls, but you are beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And if you,
thank you
Katrina, will
so much.
share, yes, she'll share her Instagram a little bit later, but you look at her pictures and I mean, you do magic. You do magic with your skill, and it's amazing. Not only your skill, you're blessing your talent, right? Because that is born from more than just learning it from somewhere. It has to be in your
It
heart.
can't. I, I, I mean, I worked in a Estee Lauder and they did train me, but I already had a knack for it. I've always
Right.
loved beauty since I was young. And I just love to enhance the natural beauty of a woman who she's already beautiful to me when she sits in my
Yeah.
chair. I just want to make her see it. I want her to feel it.
I
I
love
want to
that.
bring that to the transformations that I get to experience in my chair are just the best gift ever, ever. Like if they say, find a career that you love to do and you'll never work a day in your life. I believe that because my husband's a testament. I will get up at 3 a.m. to be at a
Mm,
wedding and work a full day standing, and you don't even eat, you don't drink, you just
right.
work because you have to get everybody ready. But it's the most amazing satisfaction when you see all these beautiful women that you glammed. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, those pictures live forever and they remember the not only the pictures but the experience that you made them feel. And that's what I
yeah,
love something about that you do because it's not just the job, it's so much more than that. But before
yeah.
we get into that, I want to highlight something that I've experienced myself of being an educator for almost 2 full decades and then, switching paths and working for myself and creating my own thing. And so it looks nice from the outside and people think like, oh, entrepreneur life, but it's a lot of hard work. And being that you worked in corporate and you had a whole thing going on, and especially we share in common, so our families are from Dominican Republic, and that get the safety job, right? Get the job with the pension and with the insurance and all those things, and then to
Mm-hmm.
make a full pivot to live life, go through a lot and make a full pivot, that says a lot.
It really does. I mean, I have to tell you that when my husband and I made the decision that I was going to, say goodbye to corporate, I was like petrified to tell my
Yeah.
father, like, and my mother. Like, I mean, we were like at dinner. I don't even know what it was, but it was just like, we're leaving. He's like, well, what? Like who does that? You have like good insurance, you have a good job. But I was just a creative soul. And I felt like that my wings were being cut off. I was sitting in a cubicle and I knew that there had to be something else out there. I really
Mm,
did. And I am so grateful for that whole experience too, because it also groomed me how to be professional, how to get back to people, have good customer service. I dealt with, legal departments, just every department that you can imagine. And that's why I say that was part of my grooming process of being able to own my own business. I mean, I would lie to you if I say I do it myself, because my husband is like another big part of my business. He does all the billing, the accounting part of it. And he also is like a huge support system. He'll go with me on jobs and, help me set up, and then he'll come back and pick me up. I mean, it's a team for sure. Yeah. So I wouldn't be able to do it without him. You know that movie Shawshank Redemption?
Yes, that's a great movie.
Kind of swim through mud, or I don't want to say the word, but you have to swim through stuff to get to the other side. And that's okay. That's what I had to do. And I'm grateful for it.
Yeah.
As bad as it sounds, because you would think, oh my God, I wasted. No, I didn't. No. I didn't, because I really
was all
grew.
For a reason.
It was an evolution. I feel like I grew even this year. Like I've evolved from last year. I'm not even the same woman I was last year. I just, I'm more spiritually in tune. I want to do good. I want people to feel good. And I think that's just something that you're going to continue to experience as you can, as you age. And it comes with time and hardships and failures and successes and all of the things that come with it.
Absolutely. And it's such a part of mindful living, which is what, Free to Be Mindful is all about. Not just the meditation side. And yes, that's important, but it's taking out the time and the intention to be aware of what's happening, to be aware of, even when it doesn't feel good, and even when you have to swim through the mud, that knowing everything is for a reason, and not getting down and out, but picking out those silver linings, getting the blessings, learning the lessons that are sometimes really, really hard, but having that awareness to then, what am I going to do with this experience? Am I going to sit down and cry about it? And it's okay if you do, but then what
That's
happens
okay.
after that?
But after you wipe off the tears, come on, you were made for something that was going to teach you a lesson. Let's go. What are we going to do? Right. And so if you don't know it, you start looking, how can I learn? How can I learn to be better? I mean, there's just so much out there for people to kind of, like, when I see the young girls, and I'm just like, no, don't get caught up in, it's just so easy to be caught up in woe is me and I can't. No, yes, you can do anything you put your mind to. And this year, more than any year, has been truly changing for me, because in January I made a shift with my fitness and my life. Just how I wanted to live, what I wanted to do. I wanted to be better. And if I could be better, I wanted to do it. Like, I kept repeating that into myself. I believe a lot in manifestation and saying things that you really want, you can get them. No matter how hard or how difficult they are. I've learned that through my years. And so I feel like everybody has that. And if you can infuse that to people, and you can motivate that to people, then that's amazing. That's a really great attribute, I think.
Absolutely. So I know a little bit of that. We're going to get back to the makeup. I know a little bit of the fitness, but tell us more. So what was it this year that hit you? And then tell us, like, what does that fitness journey look like for you?
I was in a really bad place at the end of last year. So just backtracking a little bit, after my parents passed away, I gained a lot of weight. And it wasn't like, if you saw me, it's such a relative thing, because you would think, oh no, you look fine. But for me, it just, having worked in corporate, I had a corporate gym. I was working out like 4 or 5 times a week, and I was walking. I worked in New York, so you know how much walking you do. You're just
naturally
super active, right? And then after my parents passed away, I gained that weight. And then COVID hit, and I gained that weight. And at the end of last year, I was at the heaviest I'd ever been. And I had to buy bigger clothes, just clothes in bigger sizes. And I was in a place that I was just like, what happened to you? Like, what happened to you? Just disgust. I don't want to say disgust, because I still was healthy, but I wasn't being mindful, to use your word. I wasn't being mindful of the things I was eating, consuming, because that's a big part of it.
Yes.
And so at the end of the year, I saw this Instagram story of an 8-week challenge, and Jocelyn V is the lady who runs this challenge. And I signed up, and I did January, I did the 8 weeks, the first 8 weeks. And it was an incredible experience because not only was I able to lose 20 pounds,
Okay.
I was able to gain so much more like awareness of just eating, water, hydration, sleep, taking care of me, and just
Right.
things that I lost in the shuffle of life. You really have to take care of yourself before you can take care of others, right?
Absolutely.
So just not only having participated in that whole challenge, it was mind changing. Like it really made me see how capable I was, how strong I could be. If you put your mind to it, yes, you can do it. Everybody
Yeah.
can. Not only did I finish it, I went and signed on. I'm still doing one now. I had a little bit of a mishap because we were on vacation.
That's okay.
We were on
You're
no,
allowed to have
but we
fun.
were on vacation in Puerto Rico. When I came back, I hurt my back. And
Oh
so I haven't been
no.
able, and I normally post this picture that I'm working out. It's more of an accountability for
Yes.
me and the people that follow, just because like you can motivate people if you can see, look, this is my before, this is my after. If you
Mm,
just eat the right foods and hydrate and sleep and cut this and do this, and you can achieve anything you want to achieve.
yeah.
And then the fact that I had this little issue, I'm trying not to let it beat me up. I'm
Right.
just eating really well still and trying to walk as much as I can where I can until I get
Mhm.
better. And I'm not letting it beat me up because I'm
Yeah.
hard that way. Like, oh my God, all my work, I've been now doing it for 6 months from January
Right.
till
So now it's part of your life.
it really is. And not only is it part of my life, I miss it that I can't go to the gym. I even spoke to her and I said, like, it's so crazy how you can take working out for granted because I cannot work out right now. My body will
Nothing.
not let me. My back is out of commission to work out. She's like, I know how you feel. It's happened to me. It's like people that can work out, enjoy it and do it. Like now I have to just wait. And I'll be patient and I'll wait. I'll just do the other
Yeah.
things that I can do to not get out of control. But I loved every single minute of that whole journey because forget about the physical. Oh
Yeah.
my God,
Yeah.
so much is in your head. It's all about believing that you can do and that you can conquer any goal. And my father always used to say, querer es poder. That's like
I
his
love it.
mantra since I can remember. And so, but you really sometimes have to go through things. And so that moment at the end of the year when I was in such a bad place, after I finished it, I was like, wow, I can really do this. And I did it
Yeah.
again. And it's just even more fulfilling. And then I did it again. And I was like, yes. And now I don't even want to stop it. Like my whole family is joined on board because when I cook, I'm cooking
Cook healthy.
chicken breast, broccoli, sweet potato, and they all eat what I make. So they're getting
Right.
all the benefits of it. My husband's like, what's going on here?
Whether they want to or not.
Whether they want to or not. Yeah. And
I love
and I
that.
love it. And I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. It gives me more energy. I was also like physically had ailments. Like I had stomach issues. I wasn't hydrated enough. I was tired. Oh, mood swings were a big thing.
Mm,
I was very addicted to sugar. And one of
hmm.
the things is lowering your sugar intake because that makes your glycemic
Such
index
a
drop.
difference.
And so my mood swings are different. I'm more aware. I'm more conscious. I'm more like trying to be in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Which
it's
is
been an amazing.
amazing. And I want to, for our English speaking, querer es poder means
Querer es poder. That's if you really want it, you can do anything.
you
You
can
can
do it.
you put your mind to.
Absolutely. And having that mantra to live by that, whether it is a fitness journey or an entrepreneur journey, anything, whether it is, being a brand new mom and those new days are tough and everything that you have to go through and all of the things, like if you want to, you can do it. And with the right supports, because we don't have to do things by ourselves. And one thing that I'm picking up on your story is, you're mentioning your husband and your parents before they passed away and your family. And it really is really a unit thing. You can't really do it by yourself. Yes, you're at the forefront, but
Absolutely.
when you have that
Mhm.
support, it makes such a difference in your life.
Makes such a difference. And I tell you that I have a lot of friends now in this circle where they're all younger moms. And now I'm like, my kids are grown.
Yeah.
But when I was a young mom, although I had the support, I had my mom, my sister, my husband, like my mother-in-law, like all those people were always doting on me and taking care of me. But I suffered postpartum but it wasn't spoken about a lot back
Right.
then. There wasn't social media the way there is now, that it's a vocal thing. And so I look at pictures when my girls were little, and I remember feeling so sad that day, still taking the picture, but it's
Right.
like it was on printed, like because we didn't even
Picture,
have
picture.
the yeah, it was a real picture. But I could not ask for another kind of support. He gave me everything I needed, but sometimes you just that stuff happens sometimes, the postpartum.
Yeah,
It's not something that you can, even with the support. Imagine the people that don't have it. It must be more magnified.
absolutely.
And now I see, when I see new moms, I'm like, I ask about the baby, but I always ask about them,
About
because
them.
people forget
Yes.
about them. It's always about the baby. And I remember that. I'm like,
How about me? How about me? It came out of me.
yeah,
I love that you mentioned that querer es poder and having the support of family, how important that is. And something else that you mentioned, I mean, you say it's not just for the physical, but girl, you look good. So you look really, really good. So the physical changes you feel, but what you said, what's more important is then the changes that it takes place to your mind. And I
yes,
love to clarify this for people because you're just like, oh, yeah, it's doing something to my mind. But that's mental health, people. When we think about mental health, we think about, or, people think right away like mental illness, right? So the opposite and the diagnoses and how you feel and all the things. But no, all of us have mental health. And it's really what we're putting into that space of health, just as what we put into our bodies and what we do with our bodies. It's the same thing for our minds. And a physical journey can do that, but other journeys can do that as well. And again, having that awareness of picking up exactly what it is that you're learning and then how you're implementing it in your life so that you can move forward and not just stay with all of these things and not have it do anything for you.
absolutely. And that's what I mean. For me, it was fitness, but there are a lot of people that have, I feel like if there's something that you like to do, whether it's painting or
Mm-hmm.
hobby, you know, it's just things that maybe you think are out of your reach or that you think you can't pursue. But when you try to pursue them and you see that you're successful, part of the battle is trying it.
Yeah, so
And
the education behind it all, and having the
yeah,
the know-how to seek it and then to implement it and then to be
execute.
consistent with it.
Yes. Now, up until I got my back problem, I'm going 6 times a week to the
Wow.
gym. But the day that I feel a little bit lax, I'm like, remember why you started. Remember
Mm-hmm.
why you're doing this, and remember how you feel when you're done. And I say those 3 things, and guess what? Every time I do it, I'm happy I went, and
Yeah,
and that does the job.
and
So
you
there's
got it
no like,
done.
oh, I don't want to go. I don't have to go today. No, you have to go.
Yeah, they always say the heaviest weight that you lift at the gym is the front door, it's just getting
But isn't
there.
it funny that that's with everything in life?
Mm-hmm.
That's like
Everything,
with
not
everything
just the
in
gym,
life,
everything.
not just the gym. It's like if you want, like you have crazy mornings sometimes, and you say, "Oh, I want to have a great morning, whatever." Then get up early. Get up early. Have a minute. If you want that time that you want, like I love to stew in bed for like 20 minutes before I get up out of bed. Have my coffee and just so then I prepare for that. So even if I have to get up super early, I'll still cushion my
20 minutes earlier.
yes, because I like that. For a person who is like struggling in the morning, then set up your alarm a little bit earlier and
Right.
you know plan for a better day, because to plan, what is the saying, if you don't plan, you plan to fail, or something
Yeah.
like that.
And you stated something before, knowing your passions and knowing what you want in life and then having the know-how to go after it. And it's really interesting how starting in corporate, but also always having that passion of, wanting to style people and makeup and at first just an interest, but then turning it into a job. And what I wanted to share, we started that when I met you and you did my makeup for that event back in 2019. I thought, okay, go in and get your makeup done and be done. But you provide such an experience, which is what I mean. I love that because I think everything is an experience. A party's an experience. Coming to therapy is an experience. I offer you the coffee. I have a blanket. Make sure you're comfortable. You have water. You have mints. it's just such a different thing when it's an experience because you get to really live it and enjoy it and not just go through the motions so that you're really in the present moment. Again, what mindful living is all about. And you really do that, not just for me, because I've experienced firsthand, but as I talk to friends and I'm like, wait, you know, Rhina, you've gone to Rhina. And everybody says the exact same thing is the experience that you provide from the coffee to the conversation to the makeup, but then how you feel when you leave and not just because you look gorgeous on the outside. So you're wonderful at what you do. And I wanted to ask you, does that happen intentionally or is that just the magic that you have within
Oh
you?
my God, I'm getting all choked up because it's so intentional, because I want to offer the best experience. And the reason I want to offer the best experience is because pleasant experience are the memorable ones.
Right.
You want to relive them, right? And as
Mhm.
a woman who's had children, I said I want to offer a safe space with, so that they come, and when they come, I want them to feel good and know that they don't have their children. This is girl time. They can talk, and what happens in that chair stays in that chair. I've heard plenty. It's like a therapist's office.
It
And
really
and I
is.
and I take pride in it because I'm able to connect with my girls on such a different level, offer advice where maybe they wouldn't know who to ask, or haven't
Mhm.
gone through it, or maybe I did, or maybe this is what I think. And it's such an intentional thing because I just want them, every girl that comes into here, to leave not only physically done, and
Right.
I want to achieve the look that they want for them, but I want them to feel it inside. You know how many people have said, okay, go, I trust you. I'm like, how lucky am I that I have the trust
Yeah.
of these women who've never met me. Some have never met me before, but yet somehow they're in my chair, and I have this ability to to just make them feel so amazing. I mean, I'm so freaking grateful. That's not a bad word, right?
Not a bad
I'm
word at all.
so I'm so grateful that I get to experience it. Like I really believe that this is what I was supposed to do at this time in my life, because
Mm,
maybe back then I didn't have the stories to
right.
share. I couldn't connect. I didn't have the ability to, or maybe the know-how, or there's just so many what ifs. But
Yeah.
now I am, and my girls are bigger, so I don't have to like worry about them. But it just God's timing for me. God's timing is perfect, and this is what I was supposed to
Yes.
do at this time in my life, exactly at this time. And as I turn 52, which is this Saturday,
Ah,
I'm in a place where I can't. I'm overwhelmed with joy and peace, and happy to be where I am in this moment.
and what a beautiful thing. You have me like smiling from like my cheeks hurt because it's, and it's not just for the words. Like it's genuine, and that's
It
something
really is.
about that I want people to know that it's not just what like the facade of the makeup. And sometimes people have like misconceptions of like, oh, people, who put makeup, or is it too much? And you do the lashes and this. And no, it really comes from the heart. And you can't judge a book by its cover because of whatever preconceived notions that you have. It really is, it's real, and that's
Yeah.
why I really appreciate you. It seems like we're talking about two different things when it comes to first we started talking about your fitness
Oh,
journey and how amazing that is right now, and then, your makeup and where you've come and what you do now. But that really is intertwined. We're talking all about the same thing, and it really is being intentional with the way that you live, being aware of what's happening, using things to your benefit, learning from your lessons and doing better because you know better. It really is one beautiful story, but I want listeners to understand that this isn't two separate things. It really does go all together.
it really is fused, because in correlation to fitness and beauty and all of these things, if you're fit, you feel more confident, then you can feel, you exude that, and people like to feel good, right?
Mhm.
They like to feel good, and the only way you can do that is that if you yourself attack at those very things that you avoid, because yes, it's easier to stay in bed, but if you get up, you're going to feel better if you do this. In addressing that whole fitness feeling great, I can provide a better service for them because I feel good, and if I feel good, I can make you feel good. Does that Because if I'm
Mhm.
feeling horrible, even feeling horrible, I still try to be positive. That's the weird thing. But it was something that I didn't even realize. When you're going through something, you don't really
Yes.
realize it. I didn't
Until you're
realize
on the other side.
until, yes. And that's how I can always just say, they a lot, you're not the first who've asked me, that whole journey that I went through. It's like, the reason it started to begin with was because I just analyzed myself, and I was just like, what happened? Like, I just didn't feel good. I didn't physically. And so I
Yeah.
said, I have to do something. I have to do something. And no one
Because
can
it
do
has
it
to
for
come from
you.
within. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And you have to be mindful, to your point,
Mhm.
about all of the decisions that you make in your life to allow you to be in the space to achieve the goal, right? With
Yeah.
anything, with your job and with your family. Because even if you're not hanging out a lot with your family, then you got to make the change. You want to walk more, then you got to make the time to go and walk. If
Nobody could
you,
do it for you.
yeah, like, the answer is easy. The answer is easy. It's you have to
The
kind of, and that was the
execution.
evolution for me within the last 6 months. Like, knowing that a lot of the things that are in your reach, they are there. You just have to really commit to them and really want them. And if you
Yeah.
do
So
that,
then you see the
then you can
results.
say, yes, you'll feel better. Forget
Yep.
about the physical. You'll feel better mentally. You'll feel better because you're trying to work at something that has been an issue. Like, anything that's an issue can be addressed, is my point, I guess.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And with all that being said, so your journey and where you are now, from the point of this recording, you are a few days before your upcoming birthday. Where do you see yourself like in the next little while? Where do you see your journey going?
Oh my goodness. I don't know. I feel like I just want to continue to motivate younger girls that I'm blessed to glam with. To say, a lot of people say, do you want to build a team? Do you want, like, with my business? And I don't, because what I offer is just something that I've done. It's like my baby.
Yeah.
And I've done the 20 years already. Like, this for me is just beautiful the way it is. And now I want to travel. Like, I want to do what I have to do with my work, and be able to glam my girls and touch them in a positive light, and just continue to be healthy and mindful. And I don't even know. Right now, I'm just waiting for my youngest daughter to graduate. She's a senior at Montclair. And so,
Beautiful.
to have, like, the older one has graduated already. So, as a parent, you just want to kind of,
Yeah. Make sure they're good.
yeah,
It really sounds like you're just trying to enjoy life.
I am. And I feel like you don't need much in life, really,
Right.
if you have, like, a good, like, a group of people around you that are gonna, like, support you and love you. Maybe you
That's
don't
it.
have all the great stuff or all the rich stuff and stuff, but if you're rich in other things, sometimes that's even more valuable than all the material things, I think, anyway.
Agreed. 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 So, as we wrap up, I want to ask you, and you gave us a couple of examples already, but what is your favorite way to engage in mindful living or take care of your mental health?
Working out.
Yeah.
It's
I knew
working
the answer
out.
to that already.
Really is. It just really puts me in a space that is only me, and it's me against me, and I don't care whose success is better or not better. That's my decompressed mode. That's why I miss it so much, because
Mm,
exercising is just the best thing for me. Like, it just really stimulates so many things for me. That and makeup, really.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I could be exhausted, I could be dying, I could be sick, and I will love to still glam.
I love it. It's
And
in your heart.
I
You exude it from your pores.
really do. I really do. And my husband's like he's like, he'll attest to that. He's like, I've seen that girl be so sick, and like, get up and still do the next one and do the next one. And I don't know how I get the energy to do it, but that really, really just shifts me.
Oh, I love it.
It's the best therapy for me, both, because I just feel like I get lost. It's like the face is a canvas for me, and I
Hmm.
create this beautiful piece of art, not only physically but internally, because I get to speak with them, and with most, because sometimes people don't want to speak, and I could you can doing it long enough,
You pick up on that.
Mhm. But yeah, and then versus when I'm on in the gym, it's just like that whole, like, I can do it. You know.
Yeah, yeah. And these are two perfect, opposite, but still so similar examples of living mindfully, of being where you are in the right there and right then, and putting all judgment aside and just accepting the what is and living your life with intention and with purpose, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And you encompass that all throughout.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. And I couldn't agree with you. I mean, at least for me, it's like for example, I'll take like as soon as I do the last and I see it and I feel like she's perfect, I'm like, okay, I'm done. And then and it's like a challenge for me, that whole like
Yeah,
process. And I enjoy every minute of it, every minute of it.
I
But
love it. And
yeah,
Rena, if you could be remembered for one thing in life, what would it be?
making your life better.
Mm,
Like whoever I meet,
mhm.
inspiring you somehow, making you smile another way, just being a positive light in someone else, that person's life.
Yeah, and you're doing such a wonderful job of that already. Oh my
Oh,
goodness. I wish you a very, very happy early birthday. I hope your back gets better soon and that
I
you can get
know.
back to posting your videos because they motivate me a ton. I'm like, oh, I need to get to it
Oh
because
my
Rena's
God.
getting to it.
That was actually that the first time I did one, I didn't even think that it would be such a, like I just kind of did it. And then so many people were like, oh my God. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
So then I did a few more and then did a few more. And then I just feel like so bad that it's like I haven't like I don't want to let people like, oh my God, yeah, now she's done. Now she's not gonna work out anymore. I'm like, no, I'm gonna be back. I'm just trying to
you're gonna
really
be
take
back.
care of me before I go back in there and hurt myself more. But yeah, I love you know to show people that even if it's a little bit, just whatever, one, two, just one day at a time. It's you against you. Don't compare yourself to anyone in any
Yes,
field, like
anything.
forget about it, forget about just the gym, but like to makeup, yeah, there are a lot of makeup artists, but I actually enjoy learning from people and seeing
Right.
what they do and what they offer. But you're you, and what I do, I don't think that everybody has something that they offer to the table. So
Absolutely. I always say, my mom says, we could do the exact same thing, the exact same job, and be next door to each other, but nobody does it like you. Nobody has your sazon, and that's what you bring to the table.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
and that's what people remember too, because a lot of times like they'll people go, oh yeah, my friend recommended you, whatever, oh my God, she was right, I do, I love you. And I'm just more even
Yeah.
I'm overwhelmed when they're like when they live it for themselves and they have the same
Experience.
response. I'm just
Yeah.
like, it's my pleasure. Like for me, I don't know, I hope it comes across that I really do
Oh, it
work
does.
enthusiastically and I love what I do every single day.
It really does. In person, it does. And on your social media, it does. So, where can listeners find you as far as not only posting those videos when you come back and when get with the comeback with your back, but
Yes, it's the
also your
comeback.
beautiful makeup videos? Where can we find you? And in addition to that, give us any last closing thoughts that you'd like to share.
I think having gone through a really tough time in my life where I thought, you either decide you want to you want to do something, because I was 40 when I went through this change. And
Mm.
so I could have just been submissive and said, oh, I'll stay here, do this, and I'll be miserable for the rest of my life. But for some reason, I sat there and I said, I know that I can do something else, but this isn't it. So it really took not only me to decide to get to build the courage to leave, but I was blessed with the support system that supported that, to pursue a completely different. I mean, I completely didn't want. I mean,
Mm.
and so my advice would be, if you ever feel stuck, then reevaluate what you're doing, because believe me, I never in a million years did I think that this is what I would be doing today. And it's now been over 7 years. So like if you go back, I'm just like, no, no way. No
Wow.
way. I was commuting almost at the end of my journey at New York, it was almost 2 hours.
Wow.
And it was just I was not happy. Initially I did. I love, go figure. I do love production and videos and editing and all of that. And it turns out that I do that now with my business, with the
In a
videos that
different
I
way. Yeah.
produce, because working there, you kind of figure out what things work and, what doesn't work. But yeah, my advice would be if you're not happy or fulfilled, then you need to look into yourself and say, there's something that I'm good at and something that people will benefit from. What is it and how can I get it? And if you think about it mindfully enough, the answers will come, because I believe that you manifest something and you say it. You know how many times I said it? I'm like, I'm miserable here in this cubicle. I hate it here. I hate it here. And then my husband heard me and he's just like, okay, that's it. And when he told me that I could resign, because I also understood that we had to pay a mortgage and we had two young girls. So you have to do what you got to do. It is what it is. Right. But when he told me that, I was like, oh my goodness. But I'm not going to lie that after I did leave, a lot of stuff happened that was the mud, not knowing what I was going to do, trying to figure out what I was going to do. My parents sick, and then the other one sick right after. And so a lot of stuff happened, but it all brought me to
where you are now.
Yes. When we find me is Beauty by Rhina, at Beauty by Rhina. And then I also have a website, beautybyrhina.com. And there's information there on how to send an inquiry, or through Instagram, you can just either DM me or text me. There's an option for that as well.
I love it. Yes. And we'll have all of that information on the show notes. But if you want it right now, that's Beauty by Rhina, Rhina. Rhina, you are all together. You are beautiful in and out. And I thank you so much for sharing some space with me, for being vulnerable, for sharing your story, and for really doing what you do, because you're touching a lot of lives more than more than the people who sit in your chair. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It really, like, even I can't even tell you that years ago, I never would have thought that anybody would even be interested in what I have to say. So the fact that you even reached out is humbling. So thank you so much for even considering me and listening to my story and following my journey. It means a lot to me that at least, hey, if you're listening, then at least I'm doing something right.
Absolutely. Oh, I love it. Happy early birthday.
Yay! Thank you so much.
Bye.
All right, honey, take care.
My friends, I really hope that you enjoyed listening to the conversation as much as I enjoyed having it. It is such a wonderful thing when you can have honest, open, and genuine and authentic conversation and be able to implement the learning lessons for your own life. So as you reflect on the message that you just heard, think about, what are your passions in life? Think about where you want to go. Are you truly happy with the decisions and the choices and where you are at this very moment? Or is there something that you could be doing that brings you more joy, that brings you peace? Maybe it doesn't bring you as much money, who knows? But is there something that you could be doing that that's where you should be, but you're too afraid to make that jump? Can you just jump? Thank you so much for listening. And as always, remember, in a world where you are free to be anything that you want to be, you are always free to be mindful. Catch you next week.